Hey, I'm Jason with PrairieRepublic.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make cold brew coffee. There's a lot of cool things you can do with cold brew coffee. It's a concentrate, and we'll show you all the little different cool things you can do later. But now let's just get that first quart made. What you're going to need today, you're going to need a couple of quart-sized mason jars. That's 32 ounces for those of you counting at home. You're going to need a grinder. You're going to need some fresh coffee beans. I recommend Prairie Republic. Today we're using Texas maple pecan, this good stuff right here. You're going to need some hot water, nearly boiling, and some cold filtered water, and of course a lid to the mason jar, and your refrigerator. So let's get started. First thing you're going to do is grind up some beans. You need a full cup. For anybody watching in Europe, I'm not telling you how many milliliters. We want that one. You're going to want coarse ground, nothing too fine, because when you come back and filter, you don't want it to sift through. So if you look right here, we have a very coarse ground coffee bean with a blade grinder. You don't have to have an expensive burr grinder at home to do this. Next thing you do is you pour these beans into your mason jar. Try to get most of them in there. The tops are about the same size, so you're going to get a few that fall out. Next, we're going to pour in some nearly boiling water. Now, you don't want it to scorch the beans, so that's why you don't want it totally boiling. And we're going to let it seep for about 5 to 10 minutes. Now, some people, you can make a cold brew with just straight cold water all the way through. I think you pull out more of the flavor by putting in about 2/3 of this mason jar full of nearly boiling water. So after about 5 to 10 minutes of these beans seeping in the nearly boiling water, you're going to top it off with some filtered water. Get it all the way to the top. Right now you've got about 32 ounces with the grounds. This is going to net you somewhere between 24 and 27 ounces of concentrated cold brew coffee. Seal that lid tight, put it in the refrigerator for 24 to 36 hours. Really, you don't want to go any less than 24 hours because you're not going to pull out as much of the flavor of the bean as possible. Okay, so after about 24 to 36 hours, you're going to take your cold brew coffee out of the refrigerator and it's time to filter it. So, you'll see this coffee has got a lot of grounds in it. The cool thing about this is it's a heck of a lot acidic than just pouring it out of the pot or out of the Keurig, whatever the case is. Still like them, but this really kills a lot of the acidity because it's brewed cold. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this cheesecloth and loosely put it on top so I can filter this. I'm going to show you a couple of ways that you can filter this coffee. This is kind of the old-fashioned way. So you're just going to put this cheesecloth on here and start to pour your coffee in. And you'll see the grounds are catching right there. And you're going to do this a couple times if you use this mason jar technique. The way I prefer to do it, it's a little bit easier, a lot less messy, is if you got a French press at home, what you're going to do is just dump all this inside. Get all that coffee, all that good stuff out. Get a couple good pops. There's not much left in there. And then do what you do with the French press. And just slowly press it down. All the grounds will be at the bottom. Get it where you plunge it all the way down. And I'm just going to put it in this one. Slowly pour. And you see that nice cold brew coffee right there. And this will net you about 24 to 27 ounces of coffee. Take your lid, wipe it down, wipe your grounds off of it, screw your top on, throw it back in the fridge. Some cool things you could do with this. Of course, you could drink it straight. It's going to be pretty intense because this is a concentrate. Other things you could do, make a hell of a martini. You can cook with it. I like to make ice cubes with it so that if my coffee is a little bit too hot, and I don't feel like waiting for it to cool down, I can just drop in an ice cube of coffee. I'm not going to lose any coffee flavor. It's going to have the same flavor all the way throughout. So this will last you a few days. Just throw it in the fridge and it's there for you whenever you need it. Keep coming back to PrairieRepublic.com. We'll give you tips on how to make a hell of a cup of coffee.